Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I create art and talk about whatever I want. I'm Hawkblood aka Laura and I hope you all are doing fine, especially after the holidays. As the year is coming to an end, of course I have to do my annual video about my art achievements and my art resolutions for both this and the next year. And this year I actually am very excited to tell you about the things that I actually achieved. As always, I am referring to the video I did last year where I talked more in depth about the resolutions I made for 2025. Today I will wrap the things I resoluted up and talk about my new goals for 2026. So this will be a rambly yapping video, so grab a sketchbook or a snack and get into a position or a place you feel comfortable with, because today we're, as just said, talking and reviewing 2025 as a year. So, okay. This year my resolutions were more quality-centered than quantity-centered, and I set myself 3 bigger goals, which I all achieved. Well, one you could debate, but starting with the first one was to get myself the base for a career in the art field. And as I just mentioned, that did happen. If you follow my art journey on social media, you know that I did an internship in January at an art academy. I did that because I initially wanted to study illustration and wanted to get a feeling of the overall study schedule and what it's like to be at university, or specifically at art school or art university. And during my internship, I realized that illustration isn't really the best fit for me, even though it's exact the same what I'm doing in my free time. But that's also the reason why I didn't want to pursue illustration, because I figured it's more sustainable for me if I am pursuing a career in a field that is similar enough but also different to what I am doing in my free time, so I don't actually burn out with the job I am obtaining through that study or through that career. And so during my internship I figured out that graphic design would be a better fit. So I was still a little bit unsure to what I wanted to do after that internship ended, but the universe did its thing and I got offered a place at an art school for graphic design, and I applied for graphic design, worked on my portfolio and all of the things I needed to be accepted for the entry exam, and I got my place for a study in graphic design. And so since September I am officially a graphic design art student, which I am still, so it feels like a dream. Like I still do not really comprehend the fact that I am now actually an art student and I am about to become a graphic designer. It's before I started graphic design, I was unsure about if it's really a thing for me, but it turns out it's like exactly what I searched for. Like it's, as previously mentioned, it's close enough to what I do in art anyways, but it's different, so that I am still challenged and able to build up more skills in that field. And that is so exciting. Like, I am so glad to be able to have this opportunity. So yeah, starting an art career, big check mark. My next goal for 2025 was to make my own paints. As I mentioned a lot of times on my channel before, I used to work as a science girly and a gardener in a botanical garden. And during that time, I got very fond of like plant medicine and natural resources. And due to this, I got very interested in making my own botanical pigments and botanical paints. And so my goal for 2025 was to harvest natural dyeing plants to make my own paints. And I actually managed to make 18 different paints this year, like 18 different plants slash... I did some earth pigments. I did like the very classic dyeing plant like beetroots and blue cabbage. I planted the tiny baby plants and grew them, and then I made paint from them, like the whole process. And that was such a great journey, like learning so much about like my local flora is so exciting and so grounding in a way. And unfortunately, I haven't tested my paints yet. Like, I made 18 different paints, yet I haven't painted a single piece with them. I only swatched them, and the swatches were really great. Like, the paints are actually very vibrant and pretty, and though most of them aren't light fast, they're just very smooth, and I'm so excited to test them. But about paint making, I actually have a video on my channel where I make paint out of dandelions, and the video is in German, but it has subtitles, so if you're interested in my paint making process, it's up on my channel. I want to do more videos like that in 2026 once the spring season starts and more dyeing plants are growing again. And I want to make a video where I test my actual handmade paints. That's also quite exciting. But yeah, the whole project of getting into paint making was successfully conquered. So check on making paint. My third goal for this year was to make art prints. And on this one, this is the only one that's debatable, because like I initially planned to make like classic art prints, like from actual artwork, and turn them into prints. I didn't do that I like scan an art piece and make a print out of it, but I got into the whole subject of lino printing and lino cutting. So technically I did make art prints, but not like in the way I intended to make art prints, if that makes sense. So I'm a little bit split about that point, but I also sold some of the lino prints, so technically I did make quote-unquote traditional prints, because I wanted to make prints to sell or give them away, but instead like I made lino prints. So it depends on how you want to see it. Like, it's not my initial goal, but I still achieved that goal. You get what I'm saying. So I give it a generous cross on the achieved list. But yeah, I actually achieved some more things that I didn't really intended to achieve. But a very big artistic goal I reached this year was the fact that I participated or exhibited in 2 gallery shows, which is insane. Like, especially considering the whole circumstances. Like, my grandma passed away in January of this year, and she was like epically telling me on her deathbed that she wishes me to become a great artist, in the sense of that I am able to participate in gallery shows. And then shortly after her passing, I got 2 invites to gallery shows, and it's like the whole circumstance that makes it very magical in that sense. But yeah, the first gallery show I did in June, and the second one I did in August, which was actually an art festival. And for that art festival, there's actually a vlog planned to be released eventually, because I vlogged the whole process of prepping for that art festival. And I actually wanted to publish this in September, but I kind of got overwhelmed with the amount of footage that I have, because I was recording for like 2 months. And it will come out eventually, but but it's like a very big video project, so I think that will take up a little bit more time, but it will come. And yeah, I took part into gallery shows that are quite big. Like one was a little bit smaller, but the other one was like hosted in like an actual festival site, and that was quite exciting, very overwhelming, but an amazing experience. And I'm very grateful that I was able to experience these experiences. I'm just grateful that happened. It just showed me how much, like all of these goals just showed me how much art actually is a spark in my life. Like art is literally, like it sounds so harsh, but art and creative working is like the spark I need in my life to be fulfilled, to be happy. And just this whole year proved for me that it was necessary to leave science behind and just like do art, because this is me, this is my passion, and I need that to stay healthy, and it's just a great feeling. So with that, I want to get to my resolutions for 2026. They are a little bit more than just 3, but there are also like smaller ones that I will definitely achieve, and one very big one. But I think I will start looking at my smart note. I will start with the smaller ones, which is, the first one is making more paint. As I mentioned before, I haven't actually tried my handmade paints yet in like actual paintings, and I want to make more paint, so I actually have like enough quote-unquote pressure to try out these paints. And yeah, I think that's all I need to say to that. Making more paint. Then I want to finish one of my bigger acrylic paintings that I'm currently working on, which is a painting of a woman in a crop field, and in the background there's like the clouds are building up, like it's an evening scene, and there's like thunder clouds building up, and the light is coming like from behind her, like she is standing in front of the sunset. And that's a very challenging motif that is just taking a lot of time to do correctly, especially with the lighting situation. And I actually want to finish this painting because it's like also quite big. And looking at it, like I just did like the background, and so I just need to finish the figure, and painting the figure with like the background lighting is like very challenging, so I want to actually take on this painting for real this time. And since it's a big painting, it's like a bigger goal, but not as big as the others. Next one is actually making postcards. In my graphic design studies, it's like a obligatory task to learn how to print postcards, and I want to manage that I am going to make postcards about my art. So I have like 2 goals in like one. Like one is like for my academic grades, if you will, and one is just simply for me and a potential business that is coming in 2026, but I'm grabbing forward. I want to make like actual art prints like I envisioned last year, or for this year. I want to make like actual prints in postcard sizes, and yeah, making more lino prints and lino cuts, primarily floral designs I'm having planned. Yeah. Now let's get to the bigger goals, which the first one is I want to exhibit once more. Like one of the exhibits, like the first exhibit I did this year is actually an exhibit that's like annual, and I think, or I am quite sure that I am able to participate in 2026 as well. So I am planning to apply there and get more art exhibited there. So I want to at least attend one gallery show as an artist, which sounds smaller than it actually is. But yeah, I think that's enough for that. Okay, my second biggest goal is to actually catch up with Instagram again. As said like multiple times now, I am studying graphic design. And with graphic design, there's like also a lot of social media stuff that is currently taught to us. And it kind of sparked my joy about sharing my art again. And I want to do it differently, however. Like before I went on my big Instagram hiatus, I was doing like art for content. And I don't want to do that anymore because I figured it's not healthy for me to make art for others or for clout. I want to make art to express myself. And unfortunately with social media, you have to either pick the side that you want to cater to the algorithms, or you make art for yourself and just share it with the world. And I know that if I take the second route, that I am not going to be popular, but I am now at a point where I do not want that anymore. I want to make art for myself because I need that. Like I am definitely a creative soul that if I do not create what my heart wants to create, I am becoming depressed, like honestly. And while becoming popular with my art was a goal I was chasing earlier in my life, like before I took the hiatus, it's just not my primary goal anymore. I want to get known for authentic art, for art that represents me instead of what's wanted on social media at the moment. And I think that's a healthy goal. Then the last and biggest goal that I'm actually quite afraid of is opening an Etsy shop. Not with art though, well, technically. If you follow my art journey, you know that I also make jewelry. I haven't really talked about jewelry making a lot. I just always did it for myself. But like in April, I got into macrame jewelry, or making macrame jewelry. I got into it so much that I built up quite a stock of jewelry that I am unable to wear and sometimes don't even want to wear because it's pretty but not the type of jewelry that I am wearing color-wise. And this kind of sparked the idea that I might want to sell my art, or not my art. I do want to sell my art, but for now I want to start selling my jewelry at first. And since I'm in a position where I'm happy for every money I can get, I thought that I want to open an Etsy store with my macrame jewelry because jewelry sells well on Etsy, unlike art. And I'm also living in a city where a lot of artisan markets are being hosted, so I might even go like vending at like actual events with my jewelry. And the whole process of building a jewelry brand with the knowledge I'm gaining from graphic design and marketing is very exciting. And the blueprint or the prototype for a potential website regarding my actual art, where I am then selling my art. Like it's all like a puzzle piece. Like the whole Etsy shop with jewelry is a puzzle piece for like the bigger project of becoming an independent artist. It's exciting, it's frightening, but it feels right. Like it feels like I am on the right track. Like this little shop I'm building, it's like a trial if I have enough stamina and willpower to push through with independence or being a freelancer. And I view it more as like a challenge, like a test, if I do have the skills that are needed for doing stuff independently. So yeah, I think that's all I want to share. And I'm feeling like my my voice is getting a little bit raspy because talking in English is always a little bit exhausting. But anyways, what did you guys achieve in 2025 with your art, or in general? Like, I am very nosy. I'm very interested in what you guys did this year. Was it like a successful year, or is it like not the best year that you've ever had? Let me know. I am very excited. Also, let me know what your plans are for 2026. Do you also consider to vent at some markets or participate in gallery shows, or what are your plans? Like, I genuinely am interested, and if you're open to share, I will happily read all your replies. So with that, thank you so much for watching and listening to my little ramble. I think this will be the last video from me for this year. I'm pretty sure I am working on a lot of other videos right now, but I think they will all drop within the next year. So yeah, I hope you have a great start into 2026, and if not, then that's okay. Yeah, again, thank you so much for listening and watching this far. The character I've been drawing today is my character Melanie, also known as Mel. I hope you like her. So until next time, stay safe and stay hydrated. Thank you again, and goodbye.